Hi ladies, I want to talk to you today about how you feel as you're going through your day and how I can help you to make a difference so that you can feel way better than you do right now. Because a lot of people in perimenopause, menopause and beyond actually have a lot of symptoms, have a lot of this lifestyle stuff going on, and they're not sleeping. You might find that you're always hungry or you're craving the wrong foods. Your skin erupts, you might have a bit of acne or dry skin, eczema, brain fog, forgetfulness. Maybe you can't sleep at night. Maybe you get lots of viruses or you feel run down, or you get to the middle of the day and your energy starts to tank. All sorts of things can be happening, and there is something we can do about it. And that's the thing I want to talk to you about today. I'll just introduce myself. I'm Ruth, and I work with menopausal ladies or perimenopause and beyond, and I help you to thrive, not just to survive, but actually to thrive in menopause. And my company is called Menopause Mastery, and I'll talk about that more at the end. But for now, what I want to do is give you 8 points basically that are going to help you to feel better during your day, okay? Because one of the things I want to focus on is what's going on with your blood sugar control. And believe it or not, the foods that you eat have a massive impact on how you're feeling. I don't know whether you've ever thought about that. A lot of people don't put two and two together with what you put in your mouth and how you're actually feeling. But if your blood sugar is out of control, it can actually, by that I mean that there is a higher amount of glucose circulating in your body, okay? So, and that typically comes from our food. So let's look at how a lot of people eat. This is a typical day for a lot of people, and it might be you. So just listen out and see whether you can recognize any of these foods that you might be eating, because it could be affecting the way you're feeling. Okay, so maybe for breakfast you're having porridge oats with a glass of fruit juice and some berries maybe. Maybe for a snack you're having a biscuit with some sugary coffee, and then at lunchtime you have beans and white toast. Say you're in a rush, so you just have that. And then in the afternoon maybe a Coke or other sugary drink, cake, a snack bar or something, because you've had that dip in the afternoon, your energy's tanked, so you want something quick that's going to give you a pickup energy wise. And then in the evening maybe you get home and you can't be bothered to cook properly, so you just do a quick pasta and stir in some cheese and some bits of ham. Okay, and then maybe in the evening you have some wine and some crisps. You know, if you think about that, all of that's very addictive for starters, all of those foods, because what you're doing is you're living off starchy and sugary carbohydrates, which actually spike your blood sugar, so you get a quick burst of energy, but then what you'll get is a severe drop afterwards, maybe half an hour later. And what it means is glucose is pouring into your system via your bloodstream, okay? And it's very disruptive. It's almost like a roller coaster you've got going on all day. I was talking to my kids about this yesterday, interestingly, because if we drip feed this roller coaster all day, we can actually ultimately get a lot of dis-ease going on in the body, okay? And I want to talk to you and give you 8 points that are going to help you to manage your blood glucose, to manage your blood sugar. It's one and the same thing, to manage that during the day so that you can feel a lot better. And you may be able to eliminate, without doing anything else, you may be able to eliminate some of those things that I was talking about at the beginning of the video, okay? So here are the 8 ways. The first one is to switch the order up in which you eat your food. Okay, so if you've got a plate, let's say you've got a piece of chicken, you've got some green vegetables, and then you've got some potatoes, okay? So what I want you to do is eat the fiber first. So the fiber is primarily in the green vegetables and some in the potato. So eat your greens first, and what happens is it buffers your stomach so that the sugary part of the meal, which is mostly in the potatoes or the rice or pasta that you might be eating, because that turns to sugar in your body, is actually being helped along by the fact that you're eating your fibre first. So go in that order. So go greens or the vegetables that you're eating, then the protein, so the chicken or the meat, or if it's vegan protein, whatever it is. And then lastly, the carbohydrates, so the rice, the potatoes, the pasta, etc. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is to be smart with your snacks. Yeah, because if you're eating sugary snacks, they're going to spike your blood sugar straight away. They go straight into your system. You get a rush of energy. You feel amazing. You will feel amazing. But then half an hour later, you don't feel so good and you feel like you want something else. So add in some density, again, to buffer the sugar. What we're wanting to do is buffer the sugar or the carbohydrate going into your system. So maybe if you're having a chocolate brownie, have some yogurt and a sprinkling of nuts with it. If you're going to eat some dark chocolate or some milk chocolate, again, have some nuts or seeds with it. If you're going to eat some bread, have a piece of cheese or some avocado with it. So you're creating that buffer all the time. Number three, this is really important. If you're starting your day with, say, Cocoa Pops and orange juice, that's just like pouring white sugar down your throat, okay? Versus broccoli and an egg omelette, which is going to give you a lot more sustainability. So what I want you to do is look at starting your day with a savoury breakfast, because this actually gets your body into the idea that you're going to eat more savoury food. If you eat sweet food first thing, your body is then expecting that for the rest of the day, and you're more likely to snack on sugary things for the rest of the day, and processed food as well. Okay, so that's a really simple one. They're all really simple to add into your diet. So maybe start with one and then move on and add the rest in, on the consecutive days. Number four is to focus on what's in your food, okay? So if you've got 1,000 calories of sugary, carby foods, that's very different to having 1,000 calories worth of protein, say chicken and some green vegetables and some rice. It's very different. So if you're calorie counting, don't just think about the calories, think about the foods that you are eating within those calories, okay? Because what we want to do is go for as many unprocessed foods as possible. Processed foods equals blood sugar elevation every time. So number five, if you're making a smoothie from home, a lot of people will throw in a lot of fruit into a smoothie. You really need some density, because fruit, when it is whizzed up like that, again, it's a bit like drinking sugar. So what we want to do is maybe add some protein powder, good quality protein powder, add some nuts, add some avocado, which just goes really creamy. You can't even taste it. And then maybe even some greens like spinach. It's really going to help, again, to buffer that sugar going into your body. Number six, pick dessert over a sweet snack. So I'm not saying don't eat sweet stuff. I'm just saying be clever. Be a little bit savvy with it. Be clever with it. So, and I've taught my kids this, to only eat sweet stuff after you've had something savoury, because it makes a massive difference. So if you want chocolate mousse or a chocolate brownie, wait till you've eaten your meal, as you would in a restaurant, have the dessert afterwards, rather than thinking in the middle of the afternoon, I'm just going to eat something sugary on its own. Does that make sense? Okay, because it just buffers the effects of that sweet stuff. Number seven, this is an interesting one. Drink apple cider vinegar before a meal. And this can actually slow the glucose spike down by 30%. And this comes from a lady called the Glucose Goddess. If you want to look her up, she's absolutely incredible. And she talks about having some apple cider vinegar in a little bit of water and drinking that and then eating your meal. Okay, that is going to make a 30% difference just by doing that. Definitely worth it, I would say. And then number eight, after a meal, go for a walk, for like 10-15 minute walk, because what happens is your body then pulls glucose to your muscles. Okay, so it's going to lower it by default. And then there is something called a calf push-up. Your soleus muscles are actually really hungry and really useful for actually lowering glucose, apparently. And I mentioned this in another video this morning. But you can do like a push-up with if you basically put your feet flat on the floor, like something that they tell you to do on an aeroplane, and you're going to lift your heels up. So as if you're doing a little push-up with your legs, yeah? And that's if you're stuck at your desk and you can't move around, you can't go for a walk. There's a video, and I don't know if I had it in my notes, but I can't remember what it was called, a YouTube video on how this is so helpful, because the soleus muscle is extra special as a muscle. So if you're stuck at your desk and you've eaten something sugary, or you've just had a meal, a snack, whatever it is, or a sugary drink, if you sit with your feet flat on the floor and just raise up your heels repetitively, it's called a soleus push-up. That is definitely worth doing because it's actually going to help your blood sugar lower. I hope they've been really helpful. I just want to tell you a couple of other things before I go. We actually have a book called Menopause Mastery, which is all about doing a little bit of self-coaching. So it's full of questions for you to ask yourself to get to grips with where you're at in midlife. So you'll be answering a lot of questions, and then you think, oh my God, I understand myself so much better from answering these questions. And they're probably questions that you've never thought to answer before. So that's the first thing. It's available on Amazon and you can get it overnight. It'll literally come next day, which is hugely exciting. And I love it. It's a great book, even though I put it together myself with my son, Ben. How can you work with me? Well, I have 2 groups on Facebook. I have It Starts With You, which is all about women putting themselves first, because we often forget that, particularly in midlife. And I have a group called Menopause Mastery, which is a menopause group, obviously, where you can get questions answered. I post lots of videos, lots of information. So those are both free. So pop along to Facebook and find us on there. I have a main page on Facebook, which again has lots of interesting articles. It's very inspirational, and that's just under Ruth Goodwin. Obviously, you can subscribe to us on this channel and then you'll be notified when a video comes up. And I'd love it if you would like or share or comment below. You know, if you've got something to say about this, it'd be really interesting, not just for you to reply, but for other people to read as well. And then lastly, if you want to do paid work with me, I do offer some one-to-one coaching. I have a couple of spaces available. So if you want to ask about that, please do. And I also have a paid group called the 90-Day Transformation Group, which is all about creating really good habits, which are sustainable for you for the rest of your life. And it's increasingly that we need to change our habits in midlife. It's becoming very apparent. We may have had habits for 20, 30 years that are not serving us anymore. So why wouldn't we change them now? Because we've got a long life ahead of us. So ladies, I hope that's been super helpful for you, and I will see you again on another video. In the meantime, have a great day.